Now, payment gateway doesn't care whether you deliver goods or don't, right? Payment gateway says, boss, mere paas paisa aa gaya hai. Mera remittance happens at 7 p.m. I will give you the money today. COD and shipping kind of go hand in hand. Therefore, COD's money comes to you much, 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 much later. Right? Now, when you had a marketing budget of 20,000 rupees, in 10 days or maybe less than 10, 8, 9 days, you're out of money. Paisa khatam, right? As an e-commerce business owner, you have no clarity of where your money is, right? And to give you that clarity, right, that's the software that we are building, which is called cash flow, right? This is your cash flow related data. This is where AI and ML come into the picture. You can expect 11,000 more rupees coming this week, right? And uska accuracy is 80%, right? Revenue cancelled is 2,000 rupees and revenue in transit is 7,000 rupees. Revenue expected today, 0. Revenue expected, revenue received, 0. But why? क्योंकि भाई deliver नहीं हुआ ना कुछ भी. If you had a marketing corpus of, let's say, 20,000 rupees, you would spend it in 10 days, right? And the remaining 20 days, you would just chill. But if you actually generated revenue, cash flow as a software would have the capability to give that fund to you right now so that you can continue working for the next 10 days. And the money, when your first lot ka COD money comes, you give it back to cash flow and you can actually fund your third week and your fourth week and your fifth. Hi, log. Very, very, very good evening. Let's start our episode. What are we doing today? Today, like we discussed, I'm going to show you the software. However, before the software, there's some fantastic thing that happened, right? I'm going to share my screen for everyone to see. But usse pehle revenue pe nazar marte, right? Okay, how's business today? So today is the 29th. This was our revenue of 27th, right? 3,887 conversion rate, 2.51%, right? 2.51% conversion rate, 0 returning customers, average order value 555, right? Total 7 orders. What happened on the 28th? Yesterday, we did 4,374, 9 orders, 12.5% return rate, 3.78% conversion, $586, 586 rupees in average order value. What happened today? Just 2,000 rupees in revenue, just 2,000 rupees, right? And but our conversion rates are still decent, right? What you will still continue to see is that our traffic isn't going up, right? Could be an FB quirk. That's one. Secondly, what could also be the case is, so again, I called up Sudhanshu. I shared what I saw. Like I said, Sudhanshu doesn't have access to this account as of now. No one has access besides myself. So what he said was pretty interesting, right? He said that check if your CTR has gone up or down, right? And compare it with your best day. So let's say our best day was Sunday where we did 10K, right? Has the CTR gone up or down, right? So I said CTR has gone up. He said, now check if your CPM is gone up or down. Like, yeah, CPM has also gone up, which means that your creatives are fatiguing out, right? So I was like, I said, but our creators are still standing at 1.7 frequency, right? So this is what he said, and I concur with him that when you start a Facebook campaign, you will see a spike in transactions, and then it starts fizzing out, right? Why does that happen? That happens because Facebook immediately takes that creative and shows it to the people who would immediately buy, right? Who are standing at the buy position, right? Or conversion state. Then it would show, once that's exhausted, right? Then it would show your campaigns to people who may buy, right? That's when your campaigns start depleting. And this kind of continues. So what I did as of today was changed all our creators from our old one to our new one. Right? Remember, we created 6 different creatives. So I switched all of them from the old one to the new one. However, all of them have gone in learning state. So that's that, right? Now, but again, it's going to go through a learning stage, the 3 days learning period. Hopefully over the weekend, we should be able to finish off the learning stage. That's where we stand, right? Now, yeah, so that's where we stand, right? In terms of our revenue. This is bad, right? This is terrible. Oh God. Yeah, hai kahani. And today is the 25th episode. No, 24th episode, correct. Today is the 24th episode. We just have I think so 8 days left, right, for our season to end, and we have a lot of runway to cover. Let's see where we reach. All right, because I'm banking on 3 things. One, spin the wheel tomorrow. Second, Zoco's message that we'll send out tomorrow to our existing customers. Third, that Zoco message that we had sent for Raksha Bandhan hamper. All right. Let's see how many responses did we get for that in total. So last we had checked, we had got 66. Now we have 67. It refreshes. Yeah, we've still got 67. So 67 people have shown interest in hampers. We'll, Shana is going to reach out, has already started reaching out. People have asked for a picture, right? How will that look, right? Unfortunately, I'm just not able to catch hold of our designer who can help me create a 3D model of that box before we actually order the real box, right? So that's where I'm struggling. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow, we should have a closure on that, and Sunday we should be able to close out on these orders. That's that. Interestingly, if you remember, on Thursday, we did a webinar on influencer marketing, right? On how to find influencers. These are the influencers that we finalized, right? I called up Zainab today. Then I skipped Priyanka, right? And I called Parul, right? By the time I called Parul, it was already, slightly late, right? It was around 8:30-ish. So, or 7:30-ish. So I didn't want to, I didn't want to call anyone so late as a sales call or as a collaboration call. My call with Parul went on for almost half an hour, and it was a fantastic conversation. So Parul is a chef, right? If you remember, okay, Parul is a chef. She has her own restaurant in Delhi. She stays in Gurgaon, and though she said on her profile, right? If you remember, she said on her profile that it's going to cost $5,000. The first thing that she said was, I'm not going to charge you at all because I've been there. Beautiful conversation. It went for almost half an hour. We just kept on chatting. And I've invited her to join us on Monday. So Monday is going to be a continuity of the episode that we did on Thursday, where we finalized 7 influencers from our side, right? From the brand side, we finalized 7. Now we are going to hear from the influencer side, what's their side of the story, right? So Parul Pratap, right? She's going to join us on our, our episode on Monday. This is what her handle looks like. Beautiful, beautiful. She's got a proper studio in her house. I believe this is her restaurant. I'm not sure. So she's got it's a, okay. I don't know if this is her restaurant, but she eats, drinks, does everything food, right? So on Monday, Parul is going to join us, and she's going to share her side of the story. Interestingly, she rejected a campaign from a very large brand, right? A very large all India brand, right? I'll leave it up to her to discuss all the details, right? So that's that. Now, why did she leave out on that extremely large brand, right? She'll share all the details. right? So that's that. Before we start, before I show you the software, right, which is the agenda for today's call, I want to go ahead. Again, we are discussing in our group, right? Let's go ahead and submit that message, right? Submit. So when you want to send out a message using Zoho or WhatsApp or using any software, right? We are going to use Zoho. You got to send it for approval to WhatsApp, right? And WhatsApp's AI engine either approves or rejects it, right? Let's uh, let's just submit one. We won't use that particular one, but I want to show you how it works, all right? So you go in templates, you create a new template. Over here, let's just say quirky Elon Musk, right? And over here, let's just copy that exact message. I'm going to tweak that message. The original message is Elon should make biscuits and call it Elon Musk, right? This is the original message, right? I'm going to change this a bit to make it quirky. If Elon would be my co-founder, right? If Elon would be my partner in, right? If Elon would sell biscuits, guess what he would call it? Elon Musk, right? And we'll add an emoji. We could actually send this as a push notification right now, right? But anyways, that's that. We'll add a CTA to any link and would be order your today, order your Musk, right? That's our call to action. This is how it will look. I'm not going to just send it. I'm just going to show it to you how to send messages for approvals. If I would send this, I would add it as I would add an image also over here of Elon Musk. All right, that's that. Next step, advanced options. Where do you want to take the user? All right, so let's say we are going to sell Musk. So let's take the user to our Soft Ilaichi was our most profitable product, so we'll continue to send the user over there, right? And you see this button, send for review. When you send it, you see this is in review, right? Hopefully, by the time we finish our episode today, this would have got approved, right? When WhatsApp first opened up their APIs, again, this is general knowledge stuff. When they first opened up their APIs, they would take as long as a week to get your messages approved. But they've made their algorithms and AI engine smarter. Now these approvals happen in less than half an hour, right? So that's that. Flash sale करने का plan करो. बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. Sunday is what I want to do that. Sunday is also going to be flash sale for our Gurgaon customers, right? So we can give them that 50% flash off. Plus, we also have our ending with Gurgaon foodies. Are all WhatsApp messages subject to approval? When they go from the API, yes, they do get rejected sometimes. They get rejected in the case where you're trying to sell medicines or those items that that are slightly in the restricted category. Those may get rejected, right? Or if WhatsApp sees that a lot of your messages are, or the templates that you're using, people are marking them as spam, then those templates get rejected, right? Do Rakhi sale with bundle with other brands. It's too short of a time, Sanjeet. Too short of a time. these collaborations, Rakhi collaborations and things like those happen 3 months, 4 months in advance. I've already had a word with Rage Coffee and Nagin and multiple others, including Pahadi Story, and it's just too short of a period. Because again, uska pura dabba banta hai, right? Uska pura supply chain banta hai. Therefore, this one we may have to skip out. However, the next festival is something that we'll catch up on collaboration. All right, so that's that. Now let me show you the software that I'm building. And before I begin, I don't know how many of you were there in season 1, but I had presented a software that I wanted to build. Now that software is officially in the development stage. But let me show you what is it. And before that, why is that software? How many of us are currently active in the e-commerce business? Just give me a yes or a no in chat. Yes, yes, no, 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 no. Come on, we have more people over here. I need some more yeses or nos. Okay, we'll go with this. All right. Now, for those who are, they would know. For those who are not, this is here comes another discovery. COD, we've discussed this. 70-80% of every e-commerce business, when they start, 70-80% of their transactions happen on COD, right? Which means that, let's say if you're doing a revenue of 10,000 bucks every day, right? 8,000 bucks is going to be COD, 2,000 rupees is going to be prepaid. Those who are currently in the e-commerce business, they would agree, right? Amazon is the most trusted e-commerce marketplace, right? And they too have a 70% COD, right? People prefer paying once the goods are delivered. Now, COD has introduced 2 problems, right? Of course, it's grown the pie of e-commerce, but it has introduced 2 problems. COD se aapko order to aa jayega, right? But which other problem? Absolutely. RTO, that's one problem. Which is the other problem? Absolutely, Shrish and Rohan, cash flow, right? Let me give an example. Let's say your total marketing corpus, right? The marketing money that you want to invest is 20,000 rupees, right? Or 50,000, or whatever it is, right? And per day, you kind of, divide that by 10 days, right? So let's say if you have 20,000 bucks in marketing, I had a word with one of our members today, and this is what he told me. Also, fake attempts happening for both COD and prepaid. Absolutely. Now, I had a word with one gentleman over here today, that how much, if he started, and he did say that he is not in the e-commerce business as of now. So if he started e-commerce, how much marketing, how much money would he put in his marketing? So he said, I would have the budget of 20,000 bucks. All right. Now, when you put 20,000 bucks, let's say you run ads for 2,000 rupees per day. All right. You don't have 20,000, all right? You have 20,000 minus GST. So let's say you have somewhere around 17,500, 18,000 rupees. 18,000 divided by 10 would be 1,800 rupees per day, right? 2 campaigns, 900 bucks each, 500 करते वो धीरे धीरे करके आप बढ़ाई लोगे. मोटा मोटा आपके पास 10 दिन के पैसे. Let's say every day you're getting a 4x, 5x return, and your average product value is 1,000 rupees. Okay. Which means that if you spend 2,000, you're making 8 to 10,000 rupees, right? Let's say you're making 10,000 rupees, 5x returns. Now, when you got that 10,000 rupees in revenue, right? You've not got it. You've just booked it, right? Where is the money, right? The money is in 2 places. One, money is with your shipping partner, or also known as COD partner. And second one is money is with payment gateway. Now, payment gateway doesn't care whether you deliver goods or don't, right? Payment gateway says, boss, mere paas paisa aa gaya hai, mera remittance happens at 7 p.m. I will give you the money today, right? So the money in prepaid comes either that day or the next day. However, COD, right? COD and shipping kind of go hand in hand. Therefore, COD's money comes to you much, 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 much later, right? Again, I spoke to another gentleman who I had met in Mumbai. Currently, he's there on this call, right? He said that it takes anywhere around 2 weeks to 3 weeks for COD's money to come to you, right? Which means that if on day one you booked your revenue, it would take 14 to 21 days for that money to come to you, right? Now, if absolutely, and even if you pay early COD, right, which means that, see, delivery ke baad ka COD, right? That's manageable, but transaction to delivery is the major challenge, right? 2 days after delivery, absolutely right, Vijender. Now, 2 days after delivery, but where are you delivering, right? For example, I sent one package of 10 boxes to Bangalore, to Zoco's office. They've yet not received it. I sent them on the 17th. They've yet not received it. Okay. Where is it? In transit. Now, let's say if this was a paid order, then the product is in transit for the customer. But for me, my revenue is in transit, right? So that's, and let's say we are doing 6-10 orders, what we are currently doing, very hyper local orders, right? What if we were doing all India, right? आपको एक ऑर्डर आता है जम्मू एंड कश्मीर से, दूसरा ऑर्डर आता है शिलोंग से, तीसरा आता है कन्याकुमारी से, चौथा आता है मुंबई से, पांचवा आता है इंदौर से, छठा आता है जयपुर से. Every delivery time is different, right? Therefore, it's practically impossible for you to track where is your money, right? Now, why is it important to track, right? You had a marketing budget of 20,000 rupees, right? Now, when you had a marketing budget of 20,000 rupees, in 10 days or maybe less than 10, 8, 9 days, you're out of money. Paisa khatam, right? You booked your revenue, but paisa is finished. Therefore, now you have to wait for your COD remittance. Once you get your COD remittance, only then will you be able to market again. Yes, FB charges 18% GST too, right? So it's as an e-commerce business owner, you have no clarity of where your money is, right? And to give you that clarity, right, that's the software that we are building, which is called Cashflow, right? Those who said, so Rohan, Vijender and Yash, right? This software is going to be interesting for you, right? Again, this is not a sales webinar. I'm just showing you what I'm building, right? And again, this is still some time away. You quickly check kar lete hain if this is, it's still in review. Done. Also, I mean, it would be interesting for you to know how software are built, right? Again, if you don't know. So we kind of have 4 flows, right? There are 4 flows. I've currently made 3, right? Fourth one is it's banana to hai, lekin it's just that I just couldn't find the time today to finish it, but it's a very simple one. That's fairly easy, right? So let's say you were, again, this is, like I said, for those who are not in the e-commerce industry, want to get into the SaaS industry, this might be a good crash course episode for you. The very first thing that you do in building software is you create your designs, right? You, of course, create your flows first. Based on those flows, you create your designs. Now, how do you create flows, right? I prefer using Google Spreadsheet, all right? I'm going to show you it. I'm showing you the entire development process, right? And this is how I've been building it. This is how I've been developing software, and I've done a fairly good job across my years of building software, right? So the very first thing that we do is what I like to do is create an all module sheet where I build the modules that are going to go inside the software. Now, onboarding ke andar, here are the sub modules, right? So onboarding ke andar, there's user registration, user login, connect store, connect payment gateway, and connect shipping, right? Overview ke andar, there is orders overview, there is date selector. Within date selector, there is filter selector, there is chart data, more revenue overview, filter selection, customer overview, filters, and then finally there is cash flow, right? This is the place where our customers are going to spend most of their time, right? So that's the software. This is the part which I have not built yet. Very simple. I'm going to build it maybe tomorrow or Sunday, right? Which is a settings section. Okay, your account, your password, your invoices, you disconnect your store, you disconnect your payment gateway, and disconnect your shipping partner. Those are the things. No, it's important to build it, but not at a critical stage, right? We're still in development. We'll fix that later. All right. Now let's look at the onboarding flow, how I like to look at my software, right? So think of, how I like to think, like, when building my software is, I like to think of it like a blank canvas, and I immediately start making boxes in my mind that, acha, you know what, ऐसा एक box बनेगा, यहाँ पे logo जाएगा, यहाँ पे login वाला link जाएगा, यहाँ पे start now, यहाँ से user का journey शुरू होगा, and things like those. इस पे click करेगा तो user याद आएगा. It's like, you're drawing on a canvas just in your mind, right? Once mota, right, you have clarity about what you're building, that's when you start with this exercise. That to build that software that you have in your mind, these are the modules that you will require. All right. Now let's dive deeper into onboarding, right? I'm just going to show you one so that you get a clear picture. Darna nahi, all right. This is the absolute process that I've been using to build different kinds of software across my career. All right. So about onboarding, the onboarding modules have several sub modules like user register, user login, user registration, connect wizard, to various services and more. This sheet should encompass all the respective sub modules to build the onboarding module. All right. Sub module registration. All right. User registration. So onboarding ke andar user registration is a sub module. The user has initiated a registration process. All right. So if you saw this thing, all right, this is, let's say, my landing page, and user has clicked on start now, or let's say we have this button sign up over here, or somewhere in the menu or in the footer, the user initiates a sign up process. All right. So that's what I've said. User has initiated a sign up process, registration process. Was the process initiated from the Cashflow website? Yes. And then you write all the yes cases, right? And once you complete yes, then you go no, right? So let's look at the yes case first. Okay. Did the user initiate the process from the Cashflow website? Yes, he did. All right. It's a very conversational thing. All right. It's something that you talk to someone, right? It's exactly like that. All right. कि बंदा कहाँ से आया था भाई? वेबसाइट से आया था? जी सर, वेबसाइट से आया था. Okay. User shall be prompted to fill in a few details. Achha, what details? First name, last name, company name, official email address, country, mobile number, and password. Now let's look at validating all of them. Did the user enter a valid first and last name? For example, what if this is your sign up page, right? This is your create account page. What if a user comes and just says A and so kya hona chahiye? Now, this is not a valid name, right? There can definitely be PV Sindhu, right? Or there can definitely be, SP Vishwar Narayan, right? South India mein bahut sare initials use hote hain. Lekin something has to make sense, right? So that's the first check that we do, which is the username, did the user enter a valid first and last name? Let's say the user entered first name and last name correctly, right? If no, then there is a different case, then there is a different flow. If no, let's say the user entered a valid first name and last name. Then we check, did the user enter a valid email address? All right. Now, if you remember, I've used the term official over here, right? I've used the term official. Now I'll tell you why I use the term official. Because again, this comes from my agency days as well as 1K. When you received an email from Picker or ShipRocket or whatsoever, you do have an official email address, right? But still people end up using their Gmail email addresses, right? Which is something that I want to just prompt the user that, Baba, can you try using your official email address, right? I don't want to stop them, but I want to prompt them, right? So that's why, did the user enter a valid email address, right? That's one validation case. The second validation case is, did the user add @ did the user add .com, .in, or whatever valid TLDs are there, right? Did the user enter Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo? All of those validation that happens over here. Did the user enter a valid email address? Yes. Is that email ID linked with another cash flow account? All right. Okay, username is already taken. All right. Yes, that is already linked. Now here is your first error. Show the user an error message. Looks like this email is already registered on cash flow. Please sign in or use another email address to register. Keep the create account button disabled, right? Sometimes I like to implement UI also over here, but sometimes I may not, right? So that why not verify mobile number via OTP? Absolutely, we'll just come over there. Next, is the email address linked with another cash flow account? Yes, wala case we saw that will show them an error, but no, this email ID is not linked with a cash flow account. Great. Did the user enter a valid Indian mobile number? All right. Now we currently, like I said, whatever we do for India only. Therefore, this software will also be focused very much for India. There are other regions which also support COD, but we are building only for India. Now that's that. Did the user enter a valid Indian mobile number? Yes. Is the mobile number linked to another cash flow account? Yes. So show the guy a same message saying that this number is already linked with another account. Keep the create account button disabled. If no, then enable the create account button. All right. Now, and again, this flow kind of goes on and on and on and on and on. This is still, we're still onboarding the user, right? Yahan tak aapka registration hua, right? Till this 163 lines of creating a flow for registration. Let's look at this registration flow in our Figma file. Is this supposed to be for one Shopify store only? As of now, when we go live for the very first time, yes. When we go live for the very first time, I'm a very strong believer in a concept called as MVP, called minimal viable product, right? Build your software quickly, right? And validate it. Do people want it? Spend very little money in checking that what you're building is actually an acceptable software. Are people interested in paying? Are people interested in using, right? If they'll use it, they'll pay for it. So in the MVP stage, we are going to have only one Shopify store. If so, one email address could have multiple stores linked to it. No. So one account can have multiple stores. All right. One account can have multiple COD partners. One account can have multiple payment gateways. All right. So that's how we look at it. That's how we are building the software scalable, right? We don't want you to log in, log out, log in, log out, log in, log out, right? So that's how there's going to be one parent account, and then you'll be able to create different businesses inside it, right? So that's how we are building that software. Now, let's look at the connect module, all right? Let's say a user signed up. Okay, let's just look at those screens over here first, all right? So cash flow, user, create a cash flow account, first name, last name, company name, your email address, your country selected. This is where you enter mobile number, country code is disabled, and here's your password, right? Create account button and a sign in button. This is one screen. This is another screen where the guy has entered an invalid name, right? There are already scripts available which do basic validation on names, emails, mobile numbers, things like those, and they are primarily free. We'll just use one of them to validate it. Next, company name cannot be blank, right? We don't want, for example, we don't want graphic designers to be a part of cash flow, because cash flow is not for them, right? Even if you have, some kind of an e-commerce company, this software would be helpful for you. So that's why your company name is important. Next, you entered an incorrect email address. You got an error message over here. Enter a valid official email address. And next, now, if you entered an email address which is already registered, you would get a different message, right? Next, all good up till now. Now, let's say a user clicks on this. Hey, I'm not from India, all right? I'm going to click on this. That's when they would see a different message saying that we currently just support Indian e-commerce businesses, right? Next, let's say the guy just enters 123 or an invalid phone number, all right? The definition of invalid is, there are services available that help you check the MSDN number, right? For example, my mobile number is 82876373348, right? So 82876, right? That's called an MSDN number. They help you validate if the MSDN number is valid, all right? If someone enters 12345, then that API will revert back saying that that number is not valid, all right? So that's the service that we are going to use over here. And lastly, if the user enters a valid mobile number, comes over here. Let's say the user entered 1111111. Okay. Now, or this is just a case to express that this number is already registered, right? Use another number, sign in or use another number. Lastly is your password. Let's say someone entered a very, shallow password, 123 or ASDF 1234. So now there are password protection, password creation scripts as well that allow you to create a script where the user has to create a complex password. Now, the software that we are building, right, it's going to have a lot of data, practically all data about your business, right? Therefore, we want the password to be as protected as possible, as strong as possible. Therefore, we need it to be minimum 8 characters, 1 capital and 1 symbol at least. All right. So that's the kind of password you would have to create. Once all of these conditions are satisfied, all right, only then would the create account button be enabled, right? You see, create account button is disabled through and through, right? Also in the use case that we've written over here, right? We've clearly mentioned keep the button disabled, right? You see this, keep the create account button disabled, right? Absolutely, Vijender. All passwords have to be encrypted in formats, right? So during the MVP stage itself, we are going to follow all PCI compliant rules, right? We may or may not be PCI compliant, at least at the MVP stage, but we'll definitely have all the requirements fulfilled, right? So that's that. Now, ऐसे करके आपका पूरा flow बनता है, right? When you spoke about mobile OTP, here is firstly for verification, right? You got to verify your email and you've got to verify your mobile number, right? We don't want useless people registering, people who just want to spam, right? So you'll have to verify your email address and your phone number, right? And again, these cases are also taken care of, right? That invalid OTP, request a new one. Let's say Cashflow sent you an OTP, but you entered an invalid one, all right? So you can request another OTP, and within a 24-hour period, you'll just be able to attempt 3 resends, right? Request 3 OTPs, and every OTP will be valid just for 10 minutes. Now, that was the case. Let's say a case is where the OTP is expired. You entered it after 10 minutes, right? So another message saying that OTP has expired, request a new one or try again, right? And just in case if if your account was, you are unable to enter your, oh, that's actually in the login state. Let me show you the login one also, right? Let's say आपका account बन गया है, right? So registered email address, and sorry, that's a typo. Registered email address, and you enter a password over here. Your sign in button is currently disabled. The moment you enter your email address, it first checks over here that is this email registered, all right? If it is not registered, it will tell that thing to you right over here that this email address is not registered, right? However, let's say I changed it and now I entered an incorrect username and password, that's going to be a different case, right? So you've entered the correct email address, but you've not entered the correct password combination. And once you enter both of them correctly, you would have to verify your identity again over here. Why is this required? So that we know it's you, right? You've got to enter your 6-digit passwords so that no one who may have access to your account can simply access it and see all your business information. All right. Let's say you entered these passwords incorrectly 3 times. We will lock your account for 24 hours. All right. We sent you 3 OTPs to log in for your account. For security reasons, you will not be able to request more OTPs for the next 24 hours. All right. However, we do want the guy to come back, right? We just don't want the guy to say, "Are ye kya bakwas?" Right? So he can set a reminder for 24 hours, and that's when we will give him a notification option also to allow notifications, right? And when this guy does that, it'll go to our backend, which we'll manage in, let's say, a Firebase. And when those 24 hours are up, he'll get a notification saying that, hey, your 24 hours are over. You can now try logging in again. So once that happens, and again, this is an invalid OTP flow again, all right? Here is the flow when you look at it in a flow format, right? So I like to use Figma to create my flows. Within Figma, there is another feature called FigJam, right? So it's a very basic but fantastic tool to create all your flows. Here is the user registration flow, right? So we've got our onboarding flow, right? This box I've created over here to signify to our developer that this is the onboarding flow, then followed by our cash flow overview section, followed by more, right? Now, this is our onboarding modules, and within this, there are some modules. This is the user registration module. Registration initiated from website, yes or no, all right? There would be 2 cases, yes or no. Let's look at the yes case. Yes, the user came over here, all right? Now, what did he do over here? Exactly what we wrote in our Google spreadsheet, all right? Sorry. Did the user enter a valid first and last name? Yes and no, right? If no, show the user this message, right? So you created all your screens and then you're just plotting them in a flow here, right? Did the user enter a valid first name, last name? No, this is the screen it comes to. And if yes, did the user enter a company name? Right? Did the user enter a company name? No. Then again, we use this screen, all right? Company name cannot be blank. Did the user, yes. Is the email address valid? No. Then enter a valid email address. Here, there's another condition. Is the email ID already registered? Yes. See, email ID already registered. Sign in or use another one, right? No. Did the user tap on the country tooltip? Right? Yes. We show him the screen. Right? No. Has the user entered a valid phone number? Yes. Sorry, no. Enter a valid phone number to verify. You'll have to verify it in the next step, right? So we are telling the user very clearly over here that, this is something that you will have to do. Has the user entered a valid phone number? Yes. ये valid phone number आ गया, right? Next is the mobile number already registered? Yes. Then we show him the already registered number. And no. Is the password at least 8 characters with 1 capital and 1 symbol? Yes. Allow the user to verify the email and mobile by enabling the create now button. So this form you filled up successfully. Now the create now button is enabled. Let's proceed further. Your email address verification. Did the user enter the OTP? Did the user enter the 6-digit OTP correctly? No. We show him this. Was it within 10 minutes? Right. So here's a dual check. Did the user enter the 6-digit OTP correctly? Yes, he did. But was it within 10 minutes? Right. Had the OTP expired? Right. No. The OTP is expired. All right. Request a new one or try again. OTPs are valid just for 10 minutes. Yes. Initiate a mobile verification process. All right. I had actually thought about validating mobile and email on the same screen, but it sometimes happens that, email में OTP जल्दी आता है, SMS में delay आता है. So what if I receive my mobile OTP 10 minutes later and my email OTP immediately, right? That may create a confusion for the user and the user may decide to drop off. That's why I broke down the flow in 2 parts, right? Verify your mobile number. You entered your mobile number. Did the user enter the 6-digit OTP correctly? Was it within 10 minutes? If yes, take the user to the connection wizard. All right. Now, what is the connection wizard? Let's just look at it over here. We are almost done with our episode today. Just another 10 more minutes. User sign in. Sorry, that was the user sign in flow. This is the connection wizard. Now, before I share what the connection wizard will do, what is this software exactly going to do? Right? It's going to do 2 things, right? One, it's going to look at your historical data, right? And it's going to plot a cash flow premise for you, all right? That let's say Friday को 10:50 पर आपके पास एक ऑर्डर आया, गुड़गांव से आपका वेयरहाउस है और ये ऑर्डर आया है जयपुर के लिए. एग्जांपल. Based on historical data, when did I receive the money? It took me how many days for a similar order, right? If it took 10 days, then it would say 29th को पैसा है, revenue book हुआ है. The cash flow for this you will receive this money on 8th of August. All right. That's what the software would do. So for that, we would need access to the store's historical data. But what happens if there is no historical data? What if the store is brand new? All right. Or what happens if that particular case doesn't happen? Let's say just like us, let's say in a couple of weeks, couple of months, we'll have access to a lot of Delhi NCR related data on Brown Dog. And then we decide to launch in Mumbai, right? But we don't have any order related data from Mumbai, right? Or the store is brand new. We don't have enough historical data to tell us that this orders, when will we receive this orders money, right? In that case, what do we do? So what cash flow would do is we will have, let's say, a pool of 1,000 merchants, right? That's when the software would go out from its beta into actual live state, where We will look at that entire pool of 1000 merchants, match the merchant which is closest to yours, and then present you with a predicted cash flow that based on your location, your industry standard, based on the courier that you chose, and our entire network of stores, our prediction says that you will receive this money either on 8th or 9th. Right? AI played an absolutely right. Absolutely right. AI and ML is going to play a huge role. I'll give you one example. In fact, I'm going to share my screen once more and show you where does this really help. Let's open Shiprocket. I'm just going to show it to you. Let's say this is dashboard. Oh, Shiprocket, by the way, changed their UI. Right. So here are our orders. Right. Now let's say Sunaina Kapoor. We want to ship this order. Ship now. Okay. Look at this. We are not going to ship via Amazon Surface because Amazon Surface requires you to have your Amazon Wala bag. Right. We won't have that. But let's look at others, right? There is Delivery Surface, which is going to charge us 110 rupees for 64 paise. There is we'll just come to that, Vijender. There is E-commerce Express, which is going to charge us 157 rupees, 110, 68, 62, right? This is all within Gurgaon itself. I'll show you another order, which is, let's say, outside. There's Sami. Yeah, this was for another place. All right, look at this. Look at the shipping prices. All right, 230 bucks, 287, 303, 420, 609, 410, 715. All right. Now, it may actually make sense from a cash flow perspective, all right, to use to pay the guy 287 rather than paying 230, because based on historical data, right, based on historical data, this one will deliver it faster, right? And currently Shiprocket's dashboard just gives us an estimate, right, based on, again, the data that they have, right? But they have a data of a lot of stores, a lot of things, right? They are not looking at your data in specific, right? Or they may be, I don't know, right? What we are going to look at is completely looking at your store first. If you don't have enough data for us to give you a prediction, then we will fall back on network, right? But actually paying this 50 rupees extra may benefit your cash flow so that your marketing doesn't stop, right? That's again, I was on a call with a gentleman yesterday after our session, and he said exactly the same thing, that half of the month he couldn't run marketing because of his cash flow issues, right? So again, that's these, yeah, 50 rupees shipping mein bacha ke, you're actually creating a cash flow issue for yourself, right? Deliver faster, right? That keeps the ball rolling. So that's the reason why I would definitely check someone who's delivering faster. Look at this, right? Delivering on 9th August and they're charging more. All right, delivering 9th August. Look at this, delivering 3rd August. All right, 3rd August ko deliver ho jayega, lekin 600 rupees laga. All right, this, and of course this is way far, right? It's almost double, more than double, right? But it's a difficult choice to make just by looking at the price and estimated delivery time. But from a cash flow perspective, it might be a better choice, right? So that's the visibility that we'll bring you, that cash flow as a software will bring to you. Therefore, the connection wizard, right, requires you to connect 3 different services. I'm going to walk you through it, right? So connection wizard has Shopify authenticated this user, right? Yes, Shopify, sorry, no, right? Shopify has not authenticated. What does that mean? That the user has directly come on our website and is, authenticating, Shopify to connect to Cashflow, right? Connect your store, right? That's the first thing you do. First, let's get your revenue data in place. Connect your Shopify store and allow Cashflow to get your order and revenue data. You enter your URL over here and you click on Connect My Store. Did the user enter a URL with .myshopify.com? Yes, the user did, right? Oh, this should actually be no. No, the user just entered the base URL, right? 1kfounders.com. Is this a Shopify store, right? If no, then we'll simply give the message to a user, this doesn't look like a Shopify store, right? And over here, we are also mentioning that we currently support Shopify and will be extending our support to WordPress, Wix, and Magento soon, right? But what if, yes, this is a Shopify store? Yes. Initiate the Shopify authentication window, asking the user to grant certain permissions. This is when that Shopify window will come up. Ask the user to show the permissions that we require. Allow and disallow, right? That window will show up. जब वो window आएगा, तब हमारा button का state ये होगा, right? Connecting. Were we able to successfully connect to the Shopify store? No. Let's say no, all right? Did we get a response from Shopify? Yes, we did. We will show that respective error to the customer. But if we didn't get it, right, we didn't get a response time, let's say internet timed out or whatsoever, error while connecting your store, try again, right? That's what we'll do. But let's say we were able to successfully connect to the Shopify store. Yes. Now you've connected 1K founders. You can, of course, connect another store. This is something that we just shared, Vijender. Or you can move on to the next step. When you click on next step, did the user click on next step? Yes, they did. Let's say they did not, right? Did the user click on the connect another store button? Add another row for the user to connect to another store. This case will not be managed in our MVP. However, for our developers' ease of understanding that, I should be able to add 10 more stores over here, right? We may, one store, connecting one store is free, second store is paid, something like that. I don't know what's our revenue model going to be, but that's the this is the aspect of scalability over here, right? Did the user click on the connect another store button? No, they did not. Okay, then do nothing, right? Wait for the user to take action. Did the user click on the next button? Yes, they did. Show the user the details of connecting a COD partner, right? This is where the user connects the COD partner, all right? Now let's connect your COD, your shipping and COD partner. They collect your revenue from the customer and give it to you in a few days, all right? You'll have ShipRocket and other partners over here. However, in the MVP stage, we will just have ShipRocket, okay? That's that. Did the user click on the drop-down menu, right? This drop-down menu, did the user click on this? If yes, show the user the available COD partners. Again, like I said, in the MVP stage, we are just going to have COD, have ShipRocket as our partners, COD partners integrated in Cashflow. But I want the developer to know that there will be more, right? So that's why I've mentioned this. This is also that scalability part. Did the user click on the drop-down menu? No. Did the user click on the connect button? All right, let's say yes. Again, open a window for the user to enter API keys. All right, now ShipRocket offers API keys. They don't offer a connect wala button, right? Like allow and deny. They don't offer that yet. Or at least that's what they didn't offer till the last time I saw, right? When you are actually connecting, again, your button state and your drop-down states are disabled. Was the connection successfully established, right? If yes, had the user entered API keys correctly? If no, then we'll show the user was invalid API key dala hai aapne. But if the user had entered the keys correct, but still the connection was unable to establish, do we know the reason why were we not able to establish? In the case we don't, we'll just show the user a random a message saying, a static message saying error while connecting, try again. But if we do, we will show the user a respective error that this is why we were not able to connect, right? And most of the time APIs do manage communicating the same. Were we able to successfully establish a connection? Yes. This is, again, your ShipRocket is connected, your store is connected. Similarly, you can now add, of course, more shipping partners, right? Let's say you use Picker and you use ShipRocket and ShipLite, and there are more delivery and all of those guys. You can connect all of them over here. Once this is done, did the user click on next step? If yes, right, did the user click on the next step button? Yes. Show the user the details of connecting a payment gateway. All right. Now let's connect your payment gateway. Again, drop down. We want to add multiple payment gateways. However, we will, at this stage, we will just add Razorpay. And again, once the connection is established, ta-da. You have connected your store, which gives us order level data. You have connected your COD partner, which gives us your transit and order delivery data. And you've connected your payment gateway that gives us your revenue data from, not revenue data, but data regarding orders that were prepaid, right? So you've connected all three sources. Now, after that, show me my cash flow. All right. Once you click on this, you'll be taken to a screen which has this flow, cash flow overview, right? This is a fairly small flow, all right? But in terms of, compared to, the sign up and connection, just look at this, right? I mean, there's so much action happening here versus your actual software is just as much, right? Because there are so many things that are happening within numbers over here, right? So cash flow overview. Is the user authorized for this session, right? Let's say you had signed in, but your session expired. You didn't do anything for an hour and your tab was open. We don't want that your data should be accessible to others. So is the user authorized for this session? No. So we'll show him a dashboard like this, right? Not authorized. You are not authorized to access this page. Please re-authenticate. That is when he'll have to enter his username, password, and OTP again. When this happens, all your numbers will become zero, right? Users will not be able to see any, you will not be able to see any of your numbers till you don't re-authenticate, right? But is the user authorized for the session? Yes. Does the store have any revenue, right? Let's say there is no revenue, all right? Or let me just show you that there is revenue, all right? By default, select the 30 most recent days. You remember GA, right? We look at Google Analytics. By default, it takes you to home where, it kind of creates a report for you. Sorry. Again, for those who are not much in software development, this might be a boring episode, but for those who are either in the e-commerce, want to get into the e-commerce or in the software development industry, you might find this episode pretty interesting. Let's say I click on overview. Now, Google Analytics is a pretty advanced software, right? It stores the last viewed data, right? So last time when I saw Google Analytics, I had selected this range, right? If I would have not selected this range, by default, it would take last 30 days, right? Same thing is what we are going to do over here. By default, select the most recent 30 days and plot a chart, right? Will we store values that अच्छा पिछले session में user ने 24 से 28 select किया था, right? Will we store that at the MVP stage? No, right? But to improve the experience, yes, we will. By default, select a daily filter and create a graph chart. Okay, I'll show you what that means. Do we have a day where we had zero revenue? Right? क्या ऐसा कोई दिन था ये 30 days में जहां पे zero revenue हुआ? Right? Let's look at our Shopify store. No, I don't want to show you that data as of now. how much have we done in total. I don't want to show you that data as of now, but yes, I think so there was one day where we did no revenue, right? So was there a day where we had zero revenue? Let's say there was no, right? Mark the highest and lowest date in separate colors and present the overview to the user. This is what your cash flow screen looks like, right? This is your overview of what your software looks like. You're going to spend your second most time on this screen, right? Again, select the last 30 days. Okay. This is your monthly, weekly, and daily filter. This is your orders graph, right? That acha, on so and so date, I got this much revenue, this much revenue, this much revenue, so on and so forth. You remember this case, right? This is an interesting one. Do we have a day where we had zero revenue? In the case where there was no day where we had zero revenue, we have this and this bar, right? Where there is a low bar and then there is a highest revenue bar, right? But what if there was a bar where there was no revenue, or there were multiple days where there were no revenue, right? Let's say ye din pe or ye din pe, right? These 2 days were there where there was no revenue. So then you cannot have this bar. You cannot have the low bar, right? It's incorrect. So do we have a day where we have zero revenue? Yes. Do not create the low bar. Just create the high bar and present the overview to the user, right? So in that case, you see that low bar is not there. In fact, that it is for this screen, we are considering that was that particular day where we got no orders, right? So if you look at this graph, you would immediately question, yahan kyun nahi aaya tha, right? And you will start looking for those answers. Now, this is your orders overview. Currently, you selected orders, right? If you click on this, the graph will change. If you click, and again, very basic, simple data. Orders from this date to this date show me monthly, weekly, or daily. I've done 1,838 orders. How many products did I sell? 28 and 38. How much revenue did I make? I made 15,800 rupees revenue. And how many customers and how many new and returning customers do I have? I have 56,839 customers, right? This is my overview of my business, right? It's got nothing to do with cash flow yet, right? But let's look at slightly more data. Revenue that we collected, right? Again, this is dummy data. In fact, let me show it to you in the graph itself. Let me show it to you on the screen itself. No, I'll have to show it to you here only. So revenue ka breakup ye raha, right? Overview of revenue book. Cash on delivery, we had 149, right? Rupees, right? Prepaid mein, we had 1 lakh. This should actually be ulta. 1,28,000 in prepaid. Refunds mein, we had 12,032, and total mein, we had this plus this minus this as our total revenue, right? Now here is a visual representation, right? Is total revenue, right? Is my revenue going up or down? But this is a graph, and graphs are based on date, on X and Y axis. So what's the X and Y axis over here? The X and Y axis is your revenue, right? Your revenue is over here, and the date that you selected, right? That's what's plotting this X axis, right? And automatically it's competing, it's comparing it with the earlier 30 days, right? And of course you can see your refunds, COD, and prepaid, right? So if your prepaid is going down, right, you should be able to see it at a cash flow level. If your COD is going up, you should be able to see it at a cash flow level. If your refunds are going up or down, they should make you happy or sad at a cash flow level, right? So that's the revenue tab. Similarly, we have the customer tab. We've got so and so returning customers, new customers, and total customers, right? And customers. That's the difference on. That's the overview screen, right? Here is your navigation. There's overview, cash flow, and settings, right? Settings section is still what I have to make. I've also added this update button over here because let's say we are speaking for the last 1 hour, 15 minutes or 12 minutes now. And let's say order aaya hota and I would want to plot that. Simply click on this update button. I would plot that update, right? So that's what we are not going the the Ajax model as of yet, but we are following a very request response kind of a model for this, because there's going to be so much data, right? I just don't want to do real time updation, right? When a system phad jayega, right? So that's what we are doing now. Let's take a step back. Does the store have any revenue, right? We did discuss the yes flow. What if the store did not have any revenue? Then what happens, right? No. Was the connection to the store successful? ये भी तो हो सकता है कि बॉस हमको स्टोर से कुछ डेटा मिला नहीं, right? So this is the first check that we do, boss. हमको सब डेटा मिला तो है, right? Yes, we were able to establish. Or let's just look at the no flow first. Were we able to establish a connection with the store successfully? No. That's when we show this error to the user. Something isn't right. We tried fetching for orders data, but received an error. Please reconnect using the connect wizard. All right, so it'll take the user back to connecting Shopify, Razorpay, and ShipRocket. Was the connection with the store successful? Yes. That's when the user sees this, right? This connection was established, but the store doesn't have orders. Your store. So what we are doing is we are showing just a background representation of how your data would actually look, but we are showing this user the text. Your store doesn't have any orders yet. Once you start getting orders, data would automatically start populating here, right? And again, all of your numbers are currently at 0. Now, so that's on the cash flow overview, right? लेकिन cash flow कहाँ है, right? कि मेरे को मेरा पैसा कब मिलेगा, कितना मिलेगा, all of that, right? So वो कहाँ है? That is over here. I'm going to show you 2 screens, right? Here is your cash flow overview, right? You're going to spend most of your time on this screen. Cash flow overview. Cash flow, people don't look at more than 90 days, right? Also, it's not a date-wise thing. I don't want to see cash flow of last week to a week before that, right? I want to see my cash flow today. Therefore, there is no date selector over here. You can look at today and then go minus 90 days max, right? That's how you'll be able to look at your cash flow. And of course, you can filter this date by looking at daily or weekly. So you have your total revenue, right? This is your total revenue. Out of this, COD was this much and prepaid was this much, right? This is your cash flow related data. This is where AI and ML come into the picture. Okay. This is just, kind of summarizing what's happening. Total revenue in the last 60 days. So yes, in the last 60 days, you got revenue booked was 1 lakh. जिसमें से prepaid was 20,000 and COD was 80,000. ठीक है? Out of this, again, dummy numbers, but should give you a perspective. Revenue cancelled, right, was 30,000. 1 lakh में से revenue cancelled was 30,907. जिसमें से prepaid में से only 2,000 got cancelled and 4,105 was cancelled from COD type orders. Revenue received. You see, there's revenue booked and then there's revenue received, and there's a clear difference between both these amounts. आपने book तो किया है 1 लाख, लेकिन आपके पास पहुंचे हैं अभी तक सिर्फ 24,000, right? 24,000 का breakup, again, dummy numbers, forgive me for that. So you got 10,000 from prepaid and you got 20,000 from COD, right? That's how it's going to break up. Next, कितना बचा है? 76,000 बचा है. कहाँ से? 8,000 from prepaid bacha hai, and 60,000 from COD bacha hai. Okay. Next, as a startup who's just getting into the e-commerce industry, most of the time you would be asking your question this, boss, aaj kitna paisa milega, right? So that's the question that we are answering. Funds receivable today, right? Where are we getting this data from? We are getting this data from Shiprocket, right? That how much money is Shiprocket going to send us today, and how much money is Razorpay going to send us today, right? So I'm going to receive 67,000. Jiska breakup is 10,000 will come from my prepaid, which is Razorpay, and the remaining will come from COD, which is Shiprocket, right? अच्छा, बाकी का पैसा कब मिलेगा, right? You can expect more funds this week. 11,256, right? Now, some amount, Shiprocket tells us in with their APIs that this money you will get today, right? But there is some amount that is yet to be delivered, right? Is yet to enter the remittance cycle. Therefore, this is the piece where we look at your historical data and present that you can expect 11,000 more rupees coming this week, right? And uska accuracy is 80%, right? 18,000 will come from prepaid. We are 90% sure of that. And 4,000 will come from COD. We are 60% sure of that. Now, these percentages primarily relies on those two factors. One, your historical data. Second, the strength of those 1,000 merchants, right? All put together, we'll be able to come up with better predictions, right, on your cash flow. Now, let's say you clicked on prepaid, right? Prepaid is fairly simpler, right? This is what your prepaid cash flow looks like. Today, let's say today is Monday, right? Today, revenue cancelled is 2,000 rupees. Revenue expected today is 7,000 rupees. And revenue received is 7,000 rupees, right? आज के दिन में आपका 2,000 रुपए का revenue cancel हुआ, right? I'll go back to my sheet for just 1 second. Again, as a standard practice between you and your developers and your designers, what you should do is create a definitions sheet, right? And create a list of words that you're commonly using within your software, so that it becomes easier for the developer to understand what do you exactly mean, right? So revenue cancelled. What is the meaning of revenue cancelled? So I've written over here, revenue cancelled, right? I still have to write the definition. Let's say a definition that I would write for this one is revenue from orders that were cancelled by the customer, by customers, or by a team member directly from the Shopify admin. That's the definition of revenue cancelled, right? Revenue RTO is something else, right? If you remember, in our when we started the store, wow, kitna sara order hai. It feels so nice. See this, we had cancelled these few orders. Here, this is the definition of cancelled, right? So Shopify will give us that data that this revenue was cancelled by a team member, right? So that's how it works. Now, okay, I am expecting 7,000 rupees today, and I've received 7,000 rupees today. Again, dummy numbers, don't look at the graph and chart and all of that. Look at the data that we are plotting, right? Next, we'll ask the question, why? Right? Because it's settled. Okay. Funds, receivable funds accuracy, 100%. Right? के पास ये receivable funds की, ये वाले बार की, right? Receivable funds की accuracy क्या है? 100%. ये पैसे आ गए आपके पास. Status क्या है? Complete. Right? Next, Tuesday, which is tomorrow. How much revenue is cancelled? For revenue to get cancelled on the next day needs to happen, right? The next day needs to occur. So since that has not happened, this is 0 and will continue to stay 0 for the following days. Now, 12,000 is revenue expected the next day, right? How will we know? with the connection that we were able to establish with ShipRocket and Razorpay. Revenue received 6,000, again, so on and so forth. And we will continue to build on the accuracy, right? Now, let's say if you were supposed to receive some money over here, right? But it's a Friday, right? And Friday, but this Friday is disabled. Why? Because we are also integrated with ShipRocket, and ShipRocket tells us that bank holidays, they do not do remittance. So you need to manage your cash flow. You're expecting money will come, and then you'll straight up put it in your Facebook ad for your holy campaign. But Baba, your remittance is not going to come on that day because it's a holy, right? So that visibility will come directly from that dashboard, from this dashboard, right? This is a fairly simple one. A more complex one is your COD dashboard. Today, so again, this is how I like to put it. Your revenue is not, your product is not in RTO, or your product is not getting cancelled, your product is not in transit. All those three are for the customer, right? For you, your revenue is on RTO, your revenue is cancelled, your revenue is in transit, right? So today, revenue in RTO, right, is 1,000 rupees, right? Revenue cancelled is 2,000 rupees, and revenue in transit is 7,000 rupees. Revenue expected today, 0. Revenue expected, revenue received, 0. But why? Because by deliver nahi hua na kuch bhi, right? This is still in transit. It got RTO'd, it got cancelled, and it's in transit. So aapko aaj kuch nahi paisa milega, right? Are you sure? 100%. Let's say what happens tomorrow, right? So on Tuesday, revenue RTO वहां से निकला है, लेकिन आपके पास पहुंचा नहीं है अभी, right? आपके पास पहुंचने में 1-2 दिन, 3 दिन, 4 दिन लगेगा, right? Only then you can ship it back to that customer or another customer, right? So that's again in RTO. That day hasn't happened, so revenue cancelled is 0, and revenue in transit is still 5,000, right? This 5,000 is from this 7,000, right? So what happened to the 2,000? That 2,000 will come over here to you, right? So when you look at this graph, you would then get a clear picture that, okay, so much of my revenue is in transit and so much of my revenue is going to come, right? So Thursday, we are standing on Monday, right? But on Thursday, you can expect 4,000 rupees. How sure are we? We are 100% sure. So that's the cash flow visibility that we are building for e-commerce businesses in India. This, what I showed you today, is the MVP of the software, right? Later on, we will also be building an entire fintech model revolving around it. That ek hota hai, let's say, example, Vijender, right? I'll call up Vijender, Vijender, urgently 20,000 रुपए का जरूरत है, right? मेरे को 2 दिन बाद पैसे आने वाले, तो अभी मेरे को दे दे, मैं तेरे को 2 दिन बाद रिटर्न कर दूंगा. Now Vijender, maybe he likes me, he loves me, he likes my face, or whatsoever, he might actually give it to me, right? He's a friend, he'll give it to me. Haan bhai, chalo, I know Imran, I know he's in the e-commerce business, wo de dega main, right? But we are building that entire model using AI and ML, that we know that you are going to get so much money in the next few days. We'll give that money to you right now, right? And again, this is going to be, at least I'm hoping, this is, so why give that money to you right now? Not to, party, but for you to not stop, right? For you to not stop your marketing. You take money from us, invest in your marketing. When you get your revenue, you return the money to us, right? That's the entire objective. So in that way, you're not just working 10 days a month, right? In the current scenario, if you had a corpus, or if you had a marketing corpus of, let's say, 20,000 rupees, you would spend it in 10 days, right? And the remaining 20 days, you would just chill. But if you actually generated revenue, cash flow as a software would have the capability to give that fund to you right now so that you can continue working for the next 10 days. And the money, when your first lot ka COD money comes, you give it back to cash flow and you can actually fund your third week and your fourth week and your fifth week. Right. So that's the software. That's the cash flow software that I'm currently building. There were 3 people who said that they were in the e-commerce business: Vijender, Yash, and there's one more. Vijender, Yash, and Vijender and Yash. Vijender, your opinion on the software? What do you think? It's very helpful in predicting cash available and when. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Right. So that's so maybe when we'll connect tomorrow, we'll discuss this in detail. I don't want to occupy everyone's time in asking more questions. Also for understanding leakages. Absolutely, very true, very true. So that's the software, guys. Thank you so much for hearing me out. I'm sure you would get more and more visibility on the issues that you are going to face, right? We need to be ready as business owners. We need to be ready for the issues that we are going to face when we start a business or start scaling it, right? So that's how. And again, there are multiple people like myself who are creating solutions to give you visibility to those issues and solve them in advance, right? Don't reach at the door and then try to solve it. So that's that, guys. Thank you so much. Great session once again today. We will now catch up on Monday, right? And Monday, I'm guessing, would be our seventh last episode or sixth last episode. I'm not sure. So that's what's going to be on Monday. Monday, we are going to catch up with, like I said, with Parul, our influencer, listening to her side of the story, understanding the restaurant business also. Like I said, she also runs a restaurant in Greater Kailash, Delhi, an Italian restaurant. Want to hear from her that, how is a restaurant run, kya inventory chahiye, kitna bada menu chahiye, and things like those. We'll get into those details with Parul. And Tuesday is when we will catch up with Anu and Sudhanshu. I will also share the results of our weekend sales on Monday, and then we'll take it up from there. Perfect, guys. Thank you so much. Great session once again. Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you on Monday. You have a good weekend. Chaliye, take care. Bye. See ya.